So thanks so much for joining us today. This is the seventh in our My Farm to ECE mini webinar series. And I'm really excited about today's webinar and grateful that we can have Kristen Salem on to join us today. Kristen comes to us from Adventures Learning Center in Western Michigan. They're a really awesome example of Farm to ECE in action, and they couple many different components of Farm to ECE, including local food purchasing and education. I've asked her here today to share their work in on-site gardens and how they integrate that into their classroom. I'll let her share more about her program, and so introducing Kristen Salem. Go ahead, Kristen.
Hi, how are you guys doing? My name is Kristen Salem. I'm the Regional Director of Adventures Learning Centers. As Abby said, we have 3 locations in West Michigan. Each location approximately has about 160 children. We have ages infants, so 6 weeks, all the way to school age. About 5 years ago, I heard about Farm to School and went to a training. After that training, I was completely hooked. I thought that this was an amazing idea. I thought it was a great idea. I myself have always been very food conscious. Michigan is an amazing source for fruits and vegetables and beans, and there's so much farming in Michigan. My initial concern was cost of how we were going to incorporate this into our menu. So I decided to eliminate our disposables. So any paper plates, plastic cups, spoons, and then I began pricing leases for commercial dishwashers and any reusable tableware. That's when we created Encouraging Adventurous Eaters. I figure we are responsible for introducing many firsts to our children that we provide care to, rolling over, walking, talking, friendships. So why not encourage and introduce good food and eating habits? Revamping our menu also brought on our school gardens. Okay. Sorry, I'm new to this whole webinar thing, so switching the slides might take me a bit. So planting the idea, we decided to have a staff meeting and discuss any ideas with our teachers. We began the school gardens at one of our centers. It was kind of our pilot program. So we decided what size do we want our garden to be. We talked about that. We talked about any teachers that may have experience or knowledge in gardening. We decided what we wanted to plant, what we wanted our garden to look like to our children, our teachers, our families, and what they would gain from having our gardens. So then we decided to come up with garden goals, introducing the natural world to children, providing a source of food. I don't know about you guys, but some children, they really don't know that French fries actually come from potatoes. So just, you know, the whole food education of where it's coming from. Teaching personal and social responsibilities. There's so much that entails with a garden. And then gardening skills and lessons. There's so many things that go into it. So seeding the garden. First, what we started off with 4 garden boxes. We decided that garden boxes would be the best avenue to go with. We built them 3 feet wide, 12 feet long, with a 2.5 walkway between each box. We had dirt delivered. A portion of the dirt was moved by the children, not all of the dirt. Took a lot of dirt to fill the boxes. And then we coordinated together and came up with a planting schedule for each class. So kind of what the responsibilities were going to be. We discussed what we would plant. Our first year, we decided to kind of do the basics. And we did tomatoes and green beans, peas, squash, and zucchini. We also saved a portion of our box for a smelling section where there was fragrant herbs were planted, such as dill and lavender and lemongrass. We used many resources when we were coming up with this idea. So some of them were, Michigan Farm to School. We are a member of the Edible School Gardens, Rodell's Organic Life, MSU Extension, and Pinterest has a lot of ideas and a lot of concepts that we kind of just used that also. We also wanted to talk about what the role of our garden was at our center. Each classroom, like I said, had responsibilities throughout the entire process. Since our center has a wide range of ages, infant through school age, all the tasks were divided up age appropriately. So each day during the growing season, each classroom would be responsible for weeding, watering, and eventually collecting the items from the garden. The garden plays a huge role in our centers. We believe that it develops a community. The garden exists because of the human interaction that takes place at the centers. It also creates a sense of calmness. It's actually amazing to see if you have a very active child, somebody who is just kind of a busybody. Once they enter the garden, they calm down. It's very quiet, it's gentle, and it is calming to those active children. It also builds responsibility for children. Garden etiquette begins at this time, so where to walk, where not to walk, what to pull, what not to pull. The consequences of good care for our garden and poor care, and also takes a lot of patience. Those kiddos having to wait for nature to take its course. Sometimes they obviously want it to grow faster than what it actually does. It also builds relationships. They spend a lot of time out in the gardens, working together to eventually have a product. It also provides the sensory elements of the natural environment. So lots of different textures, smells, sounds, and eventually tastes. The ultimate role of our garden is just to be a part of something that they produce is worthwhile and it's meaningful. Part of our program, when we decided to do the gardens and also change our menu, what we decided to do was the harvest of the month. So we took our menu, and each month there's a featured fruit or vegetable. And how we came up with this is that we used the Michigan harvest schedule. So farm fresh produce that is available to us throughout the seasons. Being in Michigan, sometimes it's a little limited. So while creating our menu, we did discover that we can't completely, it's not completely possible or practical for us to source all of our ingredients locally, since we have that lovely thing called winter. However, we believe it's important to do as much as we can. So one of the things that we did do is we contacted local farmers, and currently for the past 5 years, we have used a farm that provides us with many different items throughout the growing season. Also, we use Gordon Food System services, and they've been wonderful providing us with locally sourced items throughout the winter months. So using the Michigan produce availability chart, that's what allowed us to find out what was available at that time. So we kind of used this as what our featured item would be for every month. And then we provide our parents with recipes for certain items that we will be trying. The first year was a learning curve. just kind of how this whole process was going to work. And then the second year, we made changes to what worked and what didn't work. We have to have a lot of flexibility because some of the farms might not have enough items for the entire center. So our cooks are fabulous at the centers, and they just have to be flexible with the menu. The classroom for our gardens support all the learning objectives for pretty much the entire harvest season. There's so many different things that can be incorporated into lesson plans for all age groups. So some of the items that I put on here were, math. It starts from seeds. Some of the classrooms actually have sprouted indoors before taking the items out to the garden. Documentation is a huge thing. A lot of charting goes on. Science goes all the way down to the soil. So lots of discovery table use. The smelling garden is amazing, especially for the little ones that like to pick it and maybe put them in their mouths. But dissecting vegetables and fruits. Art, painting with vegetables, painting with soil, using garden tools to paint, and lots of finger painting and printing with the vegetables and fruit that we might grow. Endless books are out there. Each week for cooking, the lesson plans include a cooking project. Sometimes our gardens will produce enough for one classroom or two classrooms to actually have snack from there. But a lot of times what we're getting from our gardens will, as you see from on the first slide, we'll put it at the front desk for our parents to take home with them. Parents really like that just because then they will talk to their kids. It opens up the communication of, oh, how are we going to use this at home? And then parents actually have been using them for part of their dinner at night. So that's kind of a cool thing. Home area, lots of gardening gloves, hats, tools, overalls. And then also moving and grooving. Obviously going out to the garden is very calming to them. I found this garden yoga for kids about a year ago, and that's something fun for them also. The impact our gardens have had on our center has been outstanding. The kids, they love the responsibility, the wonder. When they get to harvest or collect, just they're so proud of what they get to bring up to the office to set at the front desk, or even at night when their parents go home and they show them what they collected. For our programming, it's definitely helped us try to figure out what works and what doesn't work. We do have to be extremely flexible with the whole menu and the gardens. Depends on the weather or what comes up. And our families really appreciate it. They appreciate the menu, that our teachers take the time to discuss and introduce foods that they may not necessarily try at home. And I would say the keys to success, we include our kids in everything. So even when the farm that delivers items to our center, we have the kids, as you see in some of these pictures, we get a lot of corn delivered, and so they shuck all the corn. We get a lot of green beans delivered, and they snap all the peas. So there's a lot of participation with them. So I would say for your personal gardens at the center, start small. Like I said, we started with the 4 boxes, and one of our centers is up to 8 boxes now. Allow space all the way around your boxes for the kids to all go all the way around them. There's a lot of hands-on that's included this. And we just continue to keep growing or adding new items. So it's pretty amazing, and I encourage everyone to do it. And if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. And that's all I got for you guys.